Hello, everyone. We are back with episode 2. This is The Loft with Miss Sherry and Dr. Dave, and I'm Dr. Dave.
And I am Miss Sherry. Glad to see you guys back again. Today, we are going to dive into what our diagnoses are, what that means, what it feels like versus what it actually is.
I love that, what it feels like.
Yes.
Because sometimes the name of it is way different than what it feels like.
And it's way scarier or daunting than what it actually is. So if we could just provide some of that clarity for, everybody, that's really the goal for today.
Let's talk a little bit about, because process is everything. Like processing things out loud is a very great cheat code, right? Like talking through stuff, even if you're by yourself, just to make sure that you get in the right perspective. So let's kind of real quickly talk through our first episode. Like, how you feeling about the first one in the can?
The first one in the can, I think, I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed myself. Of course, starting out, it was definitely very nerve-wracking, like leading up to. But again, as we kind of covered as much as we possibly could last time, we could sit and have a conversation with each other for 30 seconds or 3 hours. And it just kind of flow, and we're either, laughing until we cry, or we're crying and then we start laughing, or whatever. It just felt very natural. And then it kind of choked me up a little bit, because it's kind of like I can see how this is going to reach different people, because it's not too, no offense to, stuffy clinicians in a suit and talking about, really, the Merriam-Webster says, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is just, or whatever those books you guys, the LCSW something.
None of that, but I got it.
So, but it feels much better if it just being like, it's just two people that at least understand it or know a certain amount of information about this, and we can just talk and have a good time. How was it for you?
When you said the thing about we can talk to each other, you and I have been in a group of people, and it started out as a group conversation, and you and I will shoot off and have our own, and the people around us don't know we're no longer in their conversation, because we'll even pop back and forth, right? And so that was a part of me that was like, I hope people get that. The purpose of us doing it is to support other people.
Right.
But it's this our thing. Yeah. Right. And we're just doing our thing. And there are going to be people who are going to get it. And there's going to be folks who don't. And I don't know if I care.
Yeah. And not only
I actually don't care. I just don't want to say that straight out. I don't.
You were just trying to seem a little bit nicer. That's fine. That's okay.
I care.
I don't care. Yeah, I think, and not only to kind of give support to everyone else, but also showing them, one, how you can be supportive. Right. And then two, more personally, how we support each other. Because I know there's at least 50 people, right, in this world that do not understand our relationship. Yeah. Whether that's because they're upset that they don't have their relationship, or
they had it and lost it.
Or maybe did have it and no longer do. I don't know.
I don't know either. I almost started crying the first episode when you were telling your story and you was talking about being misdiagnosed. Yeah. Like my foot started shaking. Yeah. Like I started like,
you got the wiggles?
I can't like start crying right now.
No, that's okay.
Right? No, I know it's okay. I'm like, at the first episode, you're going to start boo-hooing?
Oh,
like,
yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, you got
it. Like to hear about that, right? And I know more, right? And you'll tell whatever story you choose to tell. But when I thought about you being misdiagnosed, right, with a parent who's a clinician, it made me think about the vast majority of people who don't have a clinician parent and will go on and on and on being fed the wrong medication, not having any improvement in their symptoms, and not being listened to. That's a struggle for me. Yeah. That is, I'm very bothered by that. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yep. If you go to see someone, right, and the therapy part, you can kind of argue that fact, right, of talking therapy. But if I'm prescribing something for you, you don't seem to get better. I'm aware that you're swallowing the pill every day, right, why wouldn't I maybe this is not the right thing? Because unlike medical science, which is also not a sort of, this is what it is. There's a couple things. I think psychology is a little bit more kind of gray sometimes. You talked about being prescribed. You didn't talk about it in here. Me and you know. Being prescribed ADHD. They thought you had ADHD medicine. And then you really got worse.
Yeah.
Right. Which means that the chemicals in the ADHD medicine triggered mania.
Yes.
Right. But the person who wrote the prescription didn't figure that out.
Right. Yes.
And how long did it have you in a manic state?
Yeah.
This is hypothetical how long. You don't have to answer.
Okay.
But how long did it have you in a manic state before somebody figure out that's not it?
Yeah.
Right. And so, which is one of the reasons why, I have a doctor's degree, but I'm going back to school. And I don't know if I talked about this, become a psychiatric nurse practitioner. I'm in nursing school right now. I got more degrees than I know what to do with.
Exactly.
But it's for that reason. It is, like for me, if I was prescribing and they were like, I gave her this medicine and she started climbing the walls. Oh, yeah. Don't give her no more of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And bring her back in.
Yeah. It was I'm glad that you said that with having a parent that is a clinician.
Yep.
First and foremost.
Which in and of itself can be problematic.
Which in and of itself can be problematic.
I have put money away for my kids to have therapy because their father's a therapist. Because we will, we have just direct conversations that most people just don't have.
Yeah.
Like I'll say things to my kids and folks like, you said that to your son? Yeah,
I did.
It's the truth.
Because it is the truth.
It's the truth.
Yeah,
right.
and sometimes
and he has to understand it right now.
Right. And it was never like a thing of my mother. Right. Let's be very specific with that, of kind of, once she saw that a medication wasn't working or anything like that, she only and the clinicians only knew to treat what I was telling them.
Right.
And for a significant amount of time, I was lying about whatever it was they were asking me, just as long as they don't figure something out.
Yep.
And then they figure out the truth, right?
But I get that.
Yeah.
But if you understand the course of treatment, you should understand whether the person's lying or not.
Yeah.
Like that, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I hopped
and that's
around
very
a lot
kind
too.
of you.
Yeah. Well.
But I get what you're saying. But if you understand the course of treatment and this chemical is supposed to do this, and it's having the opposite effect, even it's not, they're lying to me. It is, whoa.
What else is going on?
Something else is happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily, let's pile on.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that was one of the biggest things.
Because hyperactivity and mania can look alike. But there are differences.
Right. Yeah. And so when really in reality with me specifically, my diagnosis of bipolar disorder came many, many years later. But what I was diagnosed with was ADHD and maybe depression because, of some home life or what have you. But
depressive meds can do that too. If you're bipolar, yeah, exactly.
Right. And it was kind of just
like, too damn
hey,
happy.
Exactly. It was like, hey, I can sit down and focus or whatever,
right.
but I'm so confused and uncomfortable. I don't have ADHD. I'm traumatized. Right. And it wasn't until I actually disclosed and was like, okay, look, now I'm tired.
Right.
Because now more things are happening to me that are confusing me. And I would really, like to get some clarity on that. So I just told the truth. And then that's when everything else kind of started coming into play. Then, my mother and her whole circle, I feel like it was very much so of a effect as soon as I said something.
Right.
And everybody was like, oh no, and started blaming themselves when they really shouldn't have.
Right.
It is what it is.
It's the first thing you do as a parent.
And I wish I could take that away from you guys because I feel like even things now that I go through or have gone through within, the past year or two, you have felt very deeply. And it's like, man, I wish I could take that away from you guys because it has to suck.
I tell you, my younger son, Colin, has autism, right? Clinicians that are parents, we're parents first.
Yeah.
We're not our children's clinician.
Right.
So all the stuff that we look at other people's kids, be like,
we don't look at our kids like that.
Yeah, that one's Seroquel, because right?
Seroquel.
We don't see this. That's the first one that came to my mind. Right? They don't give kids Seroquel.
A little personal. Go ahead.
Right. And so we don't see it. So Colin exhibiting every classic sign of autism there is, right? He's a person with autism with an extremely high IQ.
Right.
So he didn't have any of that stuff that would have clued me in, right?
Yeah.
But all the stuff, that putting things in line. I would come home from work and I would always know where Colin was. And I used to say, oh, there go Colin again with his serial killer, lining stuff up like a serial killer. And I kept it moving. Right. So Colin started medication very early, partly because his ADHD and autism hits the same parts. Many say of the same parts of the brain. So when there's hyperactivity in autism, right? And if you have ADHD, then it's going to be more severe ADHD, right? So he got on medication very early. He would have got on it earlier, but Jude, right?
Good old Jude
wouldn't do it, right? She was like, he has to wait till he's 5. And I was like, yo, this kid is doing this.
Yeah.
And so she was like, and I was like, he's in place and he's at preschool and he's tearing the place up. And this is what she would say. That's their job to manage it. I'm not giving him any medicine until he's 5. Right? And there are medications that you can give to a 4-year-old.
Okay.
And she was like, his job in preschool is to not eat paint.
Right.
They need to make sure he
doesn't eat the paint.
And he's fine.
Okay.
Right? So we're on vacation. I'm going to go through this story really quickly because we're on vacation. Colin's up under the table, right? Colin's birthday is during spring break.
Yeah.
So we're on vacation. He's under the table. I called Jude on vacation. Hey, it's the 12th. He 5.
He turned 5 24
he
hours
is 5. Ago. Can you call some to Myrtle Beach? Can you call some meds to Myrtle Beach? He was like, no, you got to bring him in. I was like, yo, he's up on the table right now. Like, he's literally under the table. He's banging it. He's
underneath of my table, Jude.
Right. And I'm like, so this is it. So let's fast forward. Anytime you give your kid anything or anytime you give yourself anything, you should always figure out whether that's the right thing. So I immediately, when he was she started medicines about 5, and then I immediately scheduled him for a neuropsychological to make sure that what we were medicating was the right thing, because it could have been bipolar disorder, it could have been anything, and only a neuropsych can kind of pull that stuff apart. So I'm in there, I'm at Mount Washington Children's Center, and I'm filling out because doing the parent stuff, and I'm doing the parent stuff, and I'm filling out the autism parent response form. So I'm checking, I'm like, damn it.
Well, damn.
So when it came out, like before the break, I was like, he has autism.
Right.
It was yes to everything, right? Fast forward, after we got the results back, there was, for 2 years after he was diagnosed with autism, I realized later that I was in a depression because I didn't figure it out.
Yeah.
That whole story is about when you're a clinician parent, it doesn't mean you have any more. You do have more insight than the layperson,
right? But
it is still your kid, right? And so I didn't see all that stuff. I mean, I saw it. I just normalized. That's just his personality.
Yeah, that's just him.
That's him. So I get that part that you were talking about.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that my mom still blames herself to a certain degree. But now as an adult, and now that we talk to each other, we can talk to each other like adults. Right. I'll be like, girl, please, that ain't had nothing to do with nobody. Like, the only person that had something to do with is somewhere else. I ain't got nothing to do with them. Right? Me and you, we cool.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
So
I get it. I feel like I'm a little hyper observant about pathology around the house. I'm like,
hyper vigilant, maybe.
Yeah, that look a little depressive.
That looks a little.
Let me watch this.
Looks a little gloom and doom.
Yeah, that looks a little gloom and doom, right? And so, but I definitely get it. So I know we've been talking about different disorders as mostly ours, and so let's kind of get into what it feels like, what it is, and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Which one we start with? Anxiety, or
we can start with anxiety, because I feel like that's more of the generalized one for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't have an anxiety disorder, everybody experiences the feeling of anxiety, period, at one point or another. I'll say with me, with my anxiety disorder, it has kind of gone like in a roller coaster since I was younger. Definitely within the past couple of years, it literally feels like, first of all, a lot of people would think, just as a side note, that your mental emotional health or diagnosis will not affect you physically. That is not true at all.
Right.
It can tear your body apart from the inside out if you don't address it. So for me, my anxiety presents itself physically, with my hands will shake, or my breathing is labored, or I get very, very confused out of nowhere,
which is a symptom of anxiety.
Yes.
Right. And so before you go further, what the definition, that's sort of the clinical definition for folks who are kind of watching, is this feeling of intense fear that comes from nowhere.
Yeah.
The best definition is a feeling of impending doom.
Yes.
Something really bad is going to happen. And the person could literally be watching their favorite TV show, and it just it just sort of starts to happen. I think it's worse when you have had something bad happen to you, right? There are people who have anxiety disorders and nothing really bad's happened. They just always kind of feel a little nervous that something doom is coming. Yeah. But what I think people who've had a really bad thing happen to them, or and it doesn't have to be, anxiety doesn't necessarily have to come from a bad thing happened to me. It could be a bad thing I saw, or a bad thing I know about, especially when it relates to trauma, if that makes sense. So some of the therapy techniques that you'd use, and I'm going to get to this to get to that definition of that, is when a person with anxiety is you kind of question their belief about the bad thing.
Right.
Well, I don't like getting on trains, but what happens when you get on a train? Yep. It might crash, or it might not. You can walk them through. But it's harder when it's what you don't like. Well, I was on a train, it got on fire.
Right. Yeah. And they're like, that escalated quite quickly.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
And so I know that it can catch on fire.
Yes.
Right. I'm just not making up stuff about it being on fire. I had to flee for my life. So yes.
Yes, right. Trains are bad.
Right. Exactly. And what that did was trigger a physical response, in our bodies where, we just kind of, it happens over and over and over and over again for us. And so that's what anxiety is. It's just this feeling of intense fear, of impending doom, regardless of whether the fear is real or not.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no.
Because people, in this world of the intranet, right?
Intranet. The www, as I like to call, the internet.
On the internet. I looked on the internet.
On the www.
And so people use these kind of words colloquially, if I can't quite say the word.
I heard it.
But it's not helpful.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because for some people, you're just scared of something, right? Yeah. If you're afraid to go and to take your test because you didn't study, that is good. That's anxiety. It's normal.
Right.
You ain't studied, right? Or if you're like, I don't think I studied correctly or whatever.
Right.
That's different from a debilitating disease where you have physical heart palpitations.
Yeah.
You're sweating.
Yes.
You're confused. Some people can even pass out.
Yeah. Yes.
And lose consciousness from it.
Yes.
That's different from you're dumb but didn't study.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. You made a choice.
You're just upset about not studying. Right. Exactly.
You're disappointed in yourself.
Yeah.
Now.
So that's the difference.
Yeah. I think I have I would say a little bit of everything. Just a smorgasbord of different anxieties. I think and also PTSD is usually really accompanied with that as well, which is also one of my diagnoses. So I think I'm kind of on each side of there are some things that I have never done or experienced before, but my body says hell no, and I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
And if anything presents itself in likeness to that thing, it sends me.
When you're anxious, you get doe eyes. Your eyes get with us. So I walked in today, and you walked by me, and your eyes was this big. I was like, she's anxious about what's going to happen. Right. But I'm not even going to ask her if she's anxious because I know she's anxious.
I know she's anxious.
Which is probably a pet peeve of some people with anxiety. Oh, you feel anxious right now? I feel anxious all the damn time.
Yeah. And it's not, it's
so I'm like, I'll just leave her alone. She'll work through it.
I'll work through it. And that really is sometimes what I need. Like sometimes, and we kind of touched on, I believe last episode where it was like, we want to show you how, the one, you can support others. but then how we support each other, that would be one of your ways. Or if, as you also touched on, people will say to you, hey, so Sherry has worn black 4 days out of the 5 days of this week. Okay. All right. She didn't have on a lash, an eyebrow, or nothing. Okay. She keep on wearing them dirty boots. Okay. I think maybe you should go ahead and check on homegirl. Right.
That's nice.
So it's right. Very like
you need to check on homegirl.
Go ahead. Why don't we just go ahead and check in real quick? So it doesn't get annoying only if I outwardly say to you, look, I'm a little on edge today, or what have you, which I do. To my supervisor, to my friends, I'm a little on it.
I didn't say nothing.
I understand.
I did not say nothing.
I know you didn't.
Okay. You gave me the look.
I didn't give
don't go for.
Hey, look, you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So I will let you know ahead of time. Like, look, today is not a good day for me.
Right. Okay.
And then if you keep going and asking, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Whether I'm okay or not,
it makes you feel worse.
If I told you I'm fine, stop asking me over and over again, because now I'm repeating myself and I'm not getting anxious. I'm just getting irritated.
Yep.
So that's really, agitation is very directly correlated with all of my diagnoses.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. Can I jump to mine?
Yes, you can. Yes. Yes, please.
Because I think bipolar is less debilitating than anxiety. Sometimes it depends on the day.
Well, I was about to say, here's a fun fact. I have the propensity to make anything worse or not work. Okay, I'm very good at it.
That's your superpower.
That's my superpower. Please continue.
It's ridiculous. So, ADHD, I know people like to throw that around too. I got ADHD. No,
right. No, you don't. No, you don't.
It is, it's really, it happens in the frontal cortex of your brain, right up here, right in here.
In the dome.
That's where it sits. And it affects the part of your brain that is in charge of planning, execution, memory, impulse control, emotional control, and it affects executive functioning. It affects your executive functioning, which is like either the CEO or like the pilot.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Of your brain, right? And the pilot controls everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it affects. So folks with ADHD have difficulty with memory, planning, execution of things, can be agitated quite a bit. It's very difficult to control emotions, not in the same way that a person with bipolar has the issues with the mood. It is different.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It is different. And so if your pilot doesn't work, like if the person who's driving the plane is not working, you know what happens? The plane crashes,
yes.
Right? And that's what happens with folks with ADHD, because those things are not really working properly. And the medications that sort of are prescribed for it helps that part of the brain to work. You know, the biggest parts of the brain, which is shared by bipolar disorder, dopamine, problems with dopamine. What's happening with the dopamine in bipolar disorder and with ADHD is different. Within ADHD, it's not enough being produced. Sometimes there's an overproduction. There could be an overproduction in bipolar disorder too. It's the dopamine and the serotonin. And the serotonin. Serotonin is sort of drops when you're depressed and that kind of stuff. So some of it in the norepinephrine is very similar. Like some of the same brain chemicals in bipolar disorder, it just affects the person differently. Right? In the same way that bipolar disorder looks different for every single person. Because in order to get the diagnosis of bipolar disorder, you have to have had at least one manic episode and one depressive episode.
Yes.
Right? But people often present with one of them most of the time. Either
one or the other?
Yeah, one or the other. And then there's people definitely who go back and forth. But some folks will be diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but what you mostly see, what they present with is mostly depression. It's really that one time they had a manic episode. And that's really what moves the diagnosis of bipolar disorder. And because some of the same chemicals are involved in both, you have to be careful about prescribing, right? So kid comes in hyperactive, on the surface, you give them a stimulant, but they're
Right.
really not hyperactive. They're manic.
Right.
You send them into overdrive.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
Yep.
because again, hyperactivity, like I'm in right now, like I'm about to kick this whole thing over because I don't know what to do with my
I
feet.
don't know
Right.
what
I
to
don't
do
with my
with
feet.
my
Right. And my
hands.
body has to move. Right.
Right.
And because even medicated, it still doesn't stop at
It
all.
still
Right?
doesn't stop
And
it.
so, which is why I'm doing this. Like I'm literally squeezing my hand so I won't move my body.
Okay.
It's terrible. But I'm fine with it. It's not a big deal. But that's why you got to be careful with when you go to a doctor and they say it's this thing. One of the biggest thing with ADHD is if you give the medicine and there's no change or they get worse, you know you got the wrong thing.
Right.
And because stimulants happen immediately after you swallow the first pill,
Yeah.
you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. It's like you beautiful mind everything.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
"Ooh, I can see all the colors.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Except it's not quite a beautiful mind. It's supposed to. And some of the colloquial things you see online with time blindness, all that kind of stuff, you won't necessarily find that in a clinical book.
Okay.
But that stuff is somewhat true. You know, like I definitely have time blindness. I believe that everywhere I can get to in 30 minutes. It is a ridiculous belief. I know that I can't get everywhere.
very
So people
untrue.
say, how long is it going to be? I say 30 minutes. Right.
it's
And
not.
I heard this other comedian talking about, I think his was like 40 minutes. Oh, 40 minutes. Right.
Mhm.
We really believe that. It's not even a lie.
Really?
Right? Yeah. I believe I can get everywhere in 30 minutes. I am always amazed when I get there 30 minutes late.
because that's not how like time
Right,
works.
exactly. Right. And so people will say, if you cared, you would be on time.
That's not true.
I do care.
Yeah.
I believe it's 30 minutes. It's really a belief for me.
I do care.
I do care.
I
Right.
do.
That's why I said I'd be there in 30 minutes. Right. Because that's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
Right. But I didn't, you know what I didn't calculate in? Death scrolling.
Yeah. Didn't calculate that.
Didn't calculate that I was going to change my clothes 4 different times.
Yes.
Didn't calculate that I wouldn't be able to find my keys. Didn't calculate I couldn't find my wallet. It's all of that stuff that plays a role in me being able to get out the door in a timely manner. I would drop my kids off late for school. It was like a joke at the school. They were like, Dad did this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Colin with me, because he's the one I had to take to school, Colin would be like,
Yep, he
because
did.
Colin was ready 2 hours before, because how dare you be late and make me late? But I will come strolling down them steps an hour late, right? And I couldn't even tell you what I was doing at the
Right.
time. People believe that people with ADHD can't attend to anything. That's not true.
Right.
We have this uncanny ability to hyper-attend
Yes.
to stuff that are interesting to us, right? That could be death scrolling at the time,
Yeah.
right? The Google speaker in my house
Mhm.
is not working right? So
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is not working. Now, I literally would start working on it, right? Now, mind you, I got a kid waiting downstairs to go to school. And I'll start to,
Right.
because, and I'll get engrossed in that thing.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, damn, it's 10 o'clock.
Right. I gotta take the
Right.
boys to school.
When really, but what I couldn't do was walk away from it.
Right.
You know, those kinds of things that when you're always trying to process out the amount of stimulus going in, it has an effect on what people look at as mood. So I am grouchier.
Right.
I am agitated all the time. I'm doing a lot. Like, even if I'm not doing a lot, I'm doing a lot. I'm
Right.
processing a lot. A lot's going in,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to literally take it and move it around to give myself space to do the thing I need to do.
Right.
Right. And so that's where the agitation and stuff comes in.
There's a quote by
I'm sorry,
you.
I feel like I talked a lot.
No, that's what. So, hey, so podcasts, right? It's kind of
It's
like
about talking, right?
kind of like a TV show, but it's not.
But it's talking.
But it's talking.
Gotcha. We
You
supposed to
actually
talk.
We're
Got
supposed
it.
to talk to each other. Got it. You said something actually during one of our startup meetings here. You said, I do not try to mold myself or mold, myself that's going to fit best for the day. I make things around me fit the world that I need to
Yep.
interact in.
Yeah.
And I want to ask a question about with the difference. So with my diagnosis and versus ADHD, sometimes I will, more than sometimes, we were just talking about it during lunch. I will be like, oh shoot, I have to go upstairs and go grab this, and we'll get all the way to the top of the steps and then kind of just sit there and be like, shit, what did I come up here for? And then I will literally sit. And if for whatever reason it causes me anxiety when I cannot remember what it was that I was supposed to do. So I don't quickly go to the next. I'll kind of just sit there and really like.
Because your bipolar disorder and your anxiety are both tap dancing on your executive functioning.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
And you said this brilliant thing, like you always do. You said you make the world fit you.
Yeah.
That's about being assertive about me, right? That's about knowing that I don't fit this world.
Right.
But I have to make it fit me.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do well in it, right? And it's a thing that everybody doesn't have the power to do, or sometimes even the will to do it, because there is and I'm not saying that people have to change their things. I'm saying there's a reason why I own my own business, because I make it work for me, right? But when I work for other people, I made it work for me too. I said, look, I'm not coming in here at 8:30 in the morning.
Right. This is what we're not going to do.
Right. And I'm refused to come in here at 8:30. I'm not going to get here at 8:30. I'll get here at 10.
Right.
I'll work until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'll work until 10 o'clock the next morning.
Right.
But I will not come in here at 10 because I can't make it here at 10. And if you require me to do that, it was nice talking to you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I remember when you first came on board, right? And not the first time, because I think the first time was a little disastrous, right?
Jesus, don't even.
The second time when you came back, I orchestrated it.
Yes, you sure
right?
did.
And I said, this is how the world looks for Sherry. And I literally did a training with the person who you're going to report to so that they can structure your work in a way that works for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
People don't like that. Employers don't like doing that. But what I knew was, if we want the best from Sherry, because I knew what she could bring, right? We have to structure it so we get the best from her.
Yeah.
The parts that were implemented is why I believe, not to mention, you're just natural kind of, I got this.
Yeah.
But the other piece of it was, this is how it's going to work.
It's just very funny to me and sweet, and it feels good too, but it is hysterical. How you said you orchestrated me returning to DLCP was, oh my goodness, you were like the puppet master,
right?
and everything, like the conductor, right. Everything. And there are some people that are still not very pleased with that, because it was kind of like a thing of, we're not going to, or I'm not going to allow you or this person to overwhelm her to this extent.
Yep.
Which at one point was kind of like, okay, now everybody seems to be mad at me because it's like I have what I now know are called accommodations. Thank you, Pratt. Accommodations of, Sherry is not, I don't like saying that I'm not normal, but there are just some people that need certain things that other people do not.
Yep.
And I really did need that guidance. Then it kind of went into a thing of, okay, listen, check this out, Sherry. You get to tell these people what you are and what you're not going to do. Right. Because I already told you what you have to do. Right. And
I told them.
And I told them.
Right.
So that's still a role with me. I feel like I have, because of my diagnosis, I struggle.
It's a whole nepo thing.
Is it?
Yeah, of course. Oh, that's what it is. And we're way off track on this, but we won't talk about it anyway.
Hey, look,
the nepo thing is not just about what you think and feel about, it's what other people, mostly what they think and feel. And so because of your relationship with me, right, everybody knows what your relationship is with me. Everybody knows, that's my niece, that's my daughter, my niece's daughter. Everybody knows what my relationship is with your mom. Yeah. Like everybody kind of knows this stuff, right? Yeah. The struggle is yours and theirs. Yeah. It's not a struggle for me. I'm very clear. Right. I'm very clear what your job is and what I asked you to do. Yes. And if those things get done, then I also understand that you can't report directly to me, because I can't hold you accountable. Exactly. I will let you get away with murder, right? Yes. And so I gave you to somebody who's going to do what a supervisor does. Is just kind of hold you accountable. But it's nothing you can do about that. Like, whatever they think or feel about why you're there is irrelevant. They can't choose.
Yeah, and I get it. And by
the way, you're extremely competent. Does that make sense?
And
And
that's
you do your job super well. It's not like it's a nepo thing, like some rich kid who's just a slug and just
right.
skateboarding through the office.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yo, why is you running around here like that? And you was like, I got this many takes. And I was like, girl, please. And you like, no, I have to do them. And I'm like, okay. And I go in my office.
Yeah, and he will leave. Yeah, he will be like, "Oh, that's what you have to do today."
That's what you have to do.
Sure,
Okay,
then you go right on
if
ahead.
you want to make this place make you crazy, that's
Right.
your business.
Yeah, I
Right?
don't. I used to feel.
I got kids. I'm too old to have, so I have to protect some stuff, right? I'm 58, and I got a 12, 11, and a 14-year-old. I got to live till I'm 75 or 80. Like, I'm not stressing myself out. If you want to be stressed out, I'm be stressed out. I'm going to wait in my suite and lock the door.
Yeah, it is very much so. I do. I put a lot of that pressure on myself because of everybody's understanding of
But
like
that stuff feeds into your anxiety.
it does.
Yeah. And it feeds into, and then, you get anxious, and then it triggers the depression, right?
Yes.
It triggers those thoughts of I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't have this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And some of it is self-imposed, and some of it is about the environment around you. And that's what is so interesting about all of this stuff. It is what it is that's kind of coming directly from you, and what is the effects of the environment on you.
Right.
And all of it is important,
Yeah.
right? And that's why I have a certain amount of degrees. I have a reputation for doing good at what I do, being
Right.
good at what I also was always very clear I could find another job. Like
Right.
people, I never understood people, I can't lose this job, I can't find out. I was always very clear.
yeah.
Even before I was Dr. Dave, I was like, I can find me another job because I'm good at whatever they
I'm
put in front of
doing.
me. If I go work at Walmart, I'm be managing that Walmart
Right.
within 6 months or less,
Right.
right? Because that's who I am.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter to me, and I hope that feeling of empowerment other people get. Like everybody has a gift, and if you know what it is, you know how to finagle that gift.
Yeah.
It's great, but you also have to understand how the way you see the world triggers your symptoms.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So if you feel like people believe I shouldn't be here,
Yeah.
and I, on the slide, might believe that too.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I, on the slide, might believe the only reason why I'm here is because of my relationship.
Yeah.
Which is so far outside of the reality.
Yeah.
And then those negative starts to eat at you.
It does.
Yeah, and then you're sad about it,
Yeah.
right? And you got bipolar, so it's easy for you to get sad. It ain't easy for you to get unsad.
Man, let me tell you about
Right?
it, okay?
Then you're in a whole funk because of something that and that understanding how to use positive self-talk to talk yourself through even a panic attack and all that stuff is very much going to be very helpful in managing any disorder.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And I used to struggle. I still struggle with it, but I used to struggle with it a lot more. I would say, how do we say this? We're not going to go into it. How do
Oh,
we say it?
Jesus,
No,
you
no,
already
no, no,
said
no, no, no.
something.
Stop. It's wonderful.
What?
How do we say this? After a much needed hiatus.
Oh, okay. That's how you say
yes,
it now.
after a
That's
much-
how you say we came back, though.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. Don't interrupt. After a much needed hiatus that I took from work,
Right.
it really showed me. It really put a lot more confidence back in that I had into myself. One, because I love my job, right? I love,
And the clients love you.
and they do,
Right.
and I love them too. I
Right.
really, truly do. And I don't want to stop, not at all. But not saying that, oh, my department was in disarray or whatever. But when I got back, my absence was very much so felt
Yep.
in the building.
Yep.
And when I got back,
Yep.
it was like my presence did not even need to be announced.
Yep.
So at first, of course, that made me a little uncomfortable. But on the other hand, it was
There was a
kind of
while
like,
you was really, I know that you prolonged coming back
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like your mental wasn't where it needed to be. You
Yeah.
was really, well, what are they going to say when I get back?
When
What
I
is gonna
get back.
Right. And what I was like, I don't give a damn what they say.
I don't, yeah, and that's exactly what it turned into. It was
Right.
very, at a certain point, it was kind of like, check this out, man. Like, if we have 100 employees, at least 85 of them mofos know exactly where I've been.
Right,
or
exactly.
feel like they know why.
And
so,
your openness about it was just amazing to me.
Yeah, because it is what it is.
Because they would say people come to me and say, "Hi, Sherry." I was like, "I don't know. Did you call?" I don't know how she is. I don't know. And you don't know? No, I don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah, and I go in my suite where nobody has a key to get in but me and the 3 other people working there.
Yeah, and I've been open about it. One, because there's nothing to lie about or anything like that. But this is literally what we're doing here in our job. We have clients like this, right?
And who better for them? The first person they see walking through
when
the
they
door,
come through the door.
Who better who has a personal experience, not with all that they come with, but with half of what they come in, a piece of what they come in, and can speak to them in a way that is not condescending and not even disclosing that, but being present in a different kind of a way.
Yeah, right. And it's also helpful when, especially when they're coming, they don't have a lot of clean time. And especially when it comes to their mental health, when we get to a certain point, I build that rapport with them where I'm just like, okay, look, this is Miss Sherry. You done 2 different packets with me, okay? You done went from point A to point B. You can't bullshit the bullshitter, right? You just can't, not with your mental health.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really extremely helpful.
So we talked about a lot.
We sure did.
Yeah, no, we did. And I think what I would want people to walk away from is there are ways, and we didn't get to cheat codes. We'll do that in another show, right?
Next time.
That what you experience in any pathology or any emotional disorder or mental health disorder is real. And it's real to you. And that's all that matters. Right? And that you're not the only person who experiences that thing. It doesn't, I'm not saying that to minimize it. I'm saying you're not by yourself. Even at what you may feel is your worst, you still have a place in which to go. Does that make sense? And you just have to figure out how to make the world around you work for you. Right? And being clear about that. And if folks learn nothing else, that your ability to be assertive about what you need and stating it out loud. And then not backing away from it. Because other people will push you back. What do you mean? This is what I need to do my best. Whether it's at work, at home, or wherever. This is what I need to do my best. You will ultimately do better when the people around you, when the things around you mesh up and match up with who you are and what's happening with you.
I agree. Yes, I would say I would want you guys to walk away with this piece for this week. Please join us next week. It's really super exciting. I would say please be kind to yourself within all of that as well. You can be assertive, but I know for me, when I feel like I'm being too assertive, which is not a thing, I then start to feel bad because it's like, oh, I'm being a you-know-what, right? No, be kind to yourself. You deserve it. It's okay. And you're not alone. And, come on back next week. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We really, really appreciate that. Next week, we are going to be talking about toxic relationships and how they affect us, how they affect people around us, whether it be a coworker, a family member, a child, so on and so forth. It's basically, going over, the call is coming from inside the house.
It's right? Just like, what was that movie that it came from?
The Last House on the Left.
Is that really?
Yes, it is.
I thought it came from one of the scary movies.
That's a scary movie too.
No, the movie Scary Movie.
No,
It didn't come from that?
It was spoofed, yes.
It was spoofed.
Yes, it was spoofed.
Gotcha.
Where he was hiding behind.
Right.
He was hiding behind the curtain.
I'm calling from within the house. So is that you? I know it's you. I know it's you.
I'm in the closet right now.
You can't disguise your voice. Have a great day, everybody.